been celebrating you, Tracy Davidson, throughout this newscast. As she says goodbye after 29 years here at NBC10. And now, Tracy, I know you have something you would like to share.
Yeah. So this, for me, is not goodbye, and it's certainly not retirement. It's simply the next step in what I truly believe I was meant to do, serve others. People have asked me how I'm feeling in these final days on the air, and honestly, I am overflowing with gratitude, humbling gratitude. Thank you, God, for every good thing you've given me. Thank you to my family, who said yes to a life that asked a lot of them. I still remember first year, 40 years ago, when I told them I have to work on Thanksgiving and Christmas. They didn't blink. They simply said, okay, then we'll celebrate on Saturday. And we still do that every year. That's love, that's support, and I could never have done it without them.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Philly Legends Podcast. I'm Joe Colari. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode of Philly Legends Podcast. So you already see my guest, and let me tell you my problem with the introduction. I didn't know whether to say icon or legend.
Stop. I'm not even sure I deserve to be on this show, but thank you.
The accomplishments that you have. This is what I find with my guests. And let me just tell you, because if you don't know who this person is by now, well, then, I don't know what to tell you. You're not from Philly. Tracy Davidson. Come on, guys. The icon and the legend thing, I did what any normal person would do. I Googled it. So, and I didn't think of it like this, but icons can be considered from a certain space and time, and legendary is over a course of time and generations. So you're both. You're actually both.
You're very kind. You're very kind. I just feel super blessed to have been able to do what I did for so long. Really.
I ask this question a lot because the people that I have on the show are overachievers. And I mean, that's what separates people who are like yourself, who have longevity at a high level. And when you're doing anything with public service or entertainment, one, the competition is the best. You're going up against the best all the time, and you got to be on your game 24/7. And then to do that over decades, well, that's what takes you to a legendary stratus. And you're just loved in Philadelphia.
Thank you. That makes me so happy. Well, I love Philadelphia. And for many years, people said, are you going? Are you going to leave? Are you going to leave? And no, Philly is now, I'm here. I am planted. I am rooted.
Are you originally from Philadelphia? Or?
I'm not. I came here 30 years ago. And when I came here, they said, you can't say you're from Philly unless your grandparents were from Philly. And so I quickly learned how to say all the names in Philadelphia. But yeah, now I claim that I am from Philadelphia and I am deeply rooted.
Well, you are. I mean, for your body of work, and for those out there, it would take me an hour to read all the accolades, but just for a little bit, 15-time Emmy Award winner, 15 times, not 2, 3, 5. Not 10, 15. That's amazing. And then, the Broadcast Pioneers Hall of Fame, which I have a lot of you guys on my show.
Yeah.
Which, Harvey Holiday, Patty Jackson.
Yes.
The list goes on forever. And I consider myself blessed to just have a little sliver, with radio in Philadelphia. And, people say to me every once in a while, oh, the legendary Joe Colari. And I'm like, really? I mean, it never sinks in.
I would claim it, Joe.
Well, I mean, I look at the people that I've been fortunate enough to meet and interview people like you. It makes me feel very small.
Oh, no. Do you know I started in radio?
Well, I was going to ask you this question, and I'm thinking to myself, I give thanks that you weren't going into radio in Philadelphia. Because because it's, the field is so packed and competitive, and it's so you're watching your back most of the time in that business. And it can end at any second.
In radio or TV.
Yes. Yep. So how, everybody has to have this mindset. What gave you the mindset of, wanting to be better than everybody else? Or did you have that? Because a lot of times for me, it was just, that was my work ethic. I never even knew it, but I worked harder than most people.
Because I always felt deeply committed to our viewers. I work for you. I'm not this TV person. I work for you. I'm going to go out and dig and find the answers to questions and get all sides of the story. For me, it was always about service and you, I owe it to you to give you my best, to work really, really hard, to work harder than the next guy. But the sole goal is to serve you, my viewer. I work for you.
Absolutely. And I think that that's kind of built in to the people who overachieve over a long period of time. It's not even about the competition. It's about the competition's within. So you're always looking to make to be the best. It's not even about being the best. It's just you have to put in the time in order to have that kind of longevity and success. There's no cheating it.
And you're right. It's inside. I want to do my best. I want to go above and beyond. And if there's any relationship to other people, it's that I want to be willing to do the things that other people aren't willing to do. I'm going to go dig. I'm going to spend a night, going down the rabbit hole trying to find little bits and pieces.
Tell me about that starting out as a DJ.
Oh my gosh. So, I got my first commercial radio job when I was 18, and I was a freshman in college. I had started at the radio station on the campus, and then there was an opening for weekend mornings, 6 a.m. till noon. I was really a fun freshman, as you might imagine. And now this is totally going to date me. I was DJing, and my sources were a reel-to-reel, cart, and record.
Yep.
Then I would rip and read headlines at the top of the hour, and then I would engineer Yankees games.
That's awesome. And that's how I started too. With a razor blade and a grease pencil. All day long. Cutting and slicing tape and
all day long.
The reel-to-reels, people forget about reel-to-reels, but that was your lifeblood.
Yep, 100%. And when I got my first radio journalism job in Rochester, New York on the AM station, I still really liked DJing. I mean, journalism was clearly my path. That's where I was going and that's what I like to do. But on the weekends, I would just use a different name on the FM station and I would DJ. It was very fun. I had a lot of energy then, early 20s.
I had a friend who was a DJ from Rochester, and he came to Philadelphia and became a really big jock here. He went by the name of Joe Mama on Q102. His real name was Dave. But he also came from Rochester and worked up there at the station and came here to Philadelphia and had a great career. And so on radio, you remember the genre, or were you playing music, or were you doing?
Playing top 40.
Okay, top 40. Now, is that your favorite? What's your favorite music?
Oh, I think I like all music.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I like all music. I mean,
any groups that you absolutely can't do without? Well,
from the day, there's the Kansas and Boston and Styx and here's a deep part that I don't usually share, but I'm going to share because I know that you're deep into music.
Absolutely.
My home was very chaotic because both of my parents had substance abuse issues and it was always very loud at night. My brother is only a year younger than I am, and the only stereo in the house was in his room. And so we would sort of escape the loudness of our house by listening to music. And now you're going to understand what I'm about to say, but when you talk to younger audiences, they don't get it. And what my brother and I would challenge each other when we would hear a new song, we'd say, how fast is it going to move up the Billboard 100 chart? Are you betting on that one? Do you think it's not going to go anywhere? Can you learn the lyrics to the song? Which, again, you couldn't just look it up. And we weren't recording it with our cassette recorder. We were just waiting, and I'll tell you what, to this day, my brother will hear an old song and he'll say, "You still have these words?" And like, we'll go at it. But it was because of that, when I went to college and I had no idea what I wanted to do. And somebody said, there's an organizational meeting of anybody who wants to join the radio station. And I thought, well, if there is anything I know, and I did not know much, it was completely my music. And so that's how I got involved.
So your roots are with this broadcasting is in music.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's kind of been my whole life. And it's just incredible what music brings out of people. It's just amazing. And where you go during your career, how did it wind up going into broadcasting, news broadcasting?
Because, well, that's really where I started to go once I started in college. I mean, I went to the radio station, and then I even though I went on the FM station on the FM station on the college campus was the news station. And then I started to cover stories in the community. And then on the local commercial station, I started to cover stories. And that's where, and then I guided all of my academics in that direction as well. Wow. And that's where I just fell in love with telling people stories. And you can learn so much from so many people. And I just gave a keynote the other day, and I talked about, I don't think I've ever met someone who's very successful who doesn't listen intently, because they believe inside that it doesn't matter what your title is, they can probably learn something from you.
Yep. Hence the saying, 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Amen. That's exactly right.
You have to listen twice as much in order to learn anything.
Yeah.
Who was, when you started to get into this, everybody has a person that gives them their break or moves them along in the direction that they want to go. And you can name names, or if you don't want to, but who were some of the people who were instrumental in moving you in the direction that you went?
I'll tell 2 quick stories. The first story was, there was a woman, she now lives in Rochester. She worked in Syracuse and in Rochester. Her name is Mary McCombs, and she worked at the radio station. And I interned under her first. And I remember distinctly her saying, "You need to come to today's meeting, newsroom meeting." And usually I was the intern. I stayed and listened to the scanners in the newsroom. And I went, and she announced that she was moving into TV and that she was moving to Syracuse. And this old, exactly what you would think, newsman, news director, just looked at me and he goes, "Kid, what do you think? Do you want this job?" Yes, of course I want this job. I mean, it didn't go that smoothly, but that's pretty much what it was. So that was one. And then the other one was, I was working in Syracuse. And honestly, I know that people in our business work to get to a higher market. But in journalism, it doesn't matter to me how many people I'm serving. I'm still doing good journalism. Like, the actual job doesn't change. It doesn't. So I was very happy in Syracuse. I'm still doing a job. But the station got sold, sent my tape around, got hired at NBC10 in Philadelphia. And I was there not even 6 months. And the news director said, "We're sending you to the Summer Olympics in Atlanta."
Wow.
Now, I was scared every day. I mean, talk about imposter syndrome. I was scared every single day I went to work. I'm like, how am I in Philadelphia? This is crazy. And then he sent me with Vi Sikahama, who had just made the turn from NFL to broadcaster. And the two of us are looking at each other. What is this news director thinking? He's out of his mind. We have no idea what we're doing. But then once we covered the bombing together, we became, number one, fast friends. And number two, you learn real quick on the job.
Wow. That led me to my next question, which going to ask how you wound up in Philadelphia. There it goes.
Yeah. I mean, I I didn't have an intention of moving up in market size. It just happened. I sent out a tape, and literally now when I meet young people who are coming and just getting hired at NBC10, I tell them it's okay that you feel scared every day, but there's no need to. You just do the work. Just do the work.
What's a favorite story you might have about NBC working there? Something maybe off the wall that happened, or you probably have a lot of them over, what was it, 30 years?
30 years, almost 30 years. Yeah.
Wow.
I left at the end of November, and I was hired in 1996 at the end of February. Yeah. It's almost 30 years. I mean, gosh. So there's so many stories. I don't know where to begin.
One stands out.
I mean, look, Vi and I had some fun. We really did. Vi and I had fun at the Olympics. We had fun.
That had to be an experience doing the Olympics.
Well, it was, especially because we were both so young, right? We were so young. We had no idea what we were doing. And then to have the bombing happen.
Right.
So that was pretty significant. And then, much, much later, our boss comes to us and says, and this is when morning news viewership was increasing, it's plummeted since COVID, but it was increasing. And so our boss came to us and said, we'd like you guys to go to mornings. And we thought, you're out of your mind. What time do I have to be in the station? 2:00. 2:00 in the morning.
Wow.
That was hard. That was really hard. It was hard on it's physically hard on your body. You got to go to bed at 6. You're not much fun. I'll tell you that.
Your whole clock gets whacked out. And how long did you do it? How long did you do the mornings?
That was probably about 5 or 6 years. And usually, I mean, I don't feel old, although I know I'm later in years. Usually people get that gig when they're young. When I'm young, I may have been able to handle it a little bit better. But Vi and I just kept looking at each other thinking, what are we doing here? I mean, if we didn't have each other, it would have been even worse. But we did have a lot of fun. We had a real lot of fun. And the day that I left doing morning news, he brought an old-fashioned alarm clock and a sledgehammer. So I got to take care of that.
That's great.
So, yeah. He was really fun. We were really, how there are times that you look back on your life and you think, wow, that was really special. And I'm not sure I appreciated it. With Vi, we had the opposite. Every single day we knew what we had was special and we appreciated it and each other.
When you were coming to Philadelphia and you get here now, what did you find like unique? Because Philadelphia is different. It's, when you go to other major markets, and I always said that Philadelphia was different because it's not transient. You don't have the influx of New York, Chicago, LA, people from all around the world going, they wind up making the population where Philadelphia is still Philadelphia, and people die 50 miles from where they were born. So what did you find unique about it coming to here?
I thought people were a lot more friendly than I thought that they would be for a big city. And now having lived here and feel like I'm one of us, right? We get a bad rap. I think that we're very, very kind. And I loved that people had so much history and roots, because I learned so much from people. As soon as I landed, I was trying to understand all the neighborhoods and all the people and how they thought and all the sports teams. And I think people were a lot friendlier than now I can say we're giving credit for.
Absolutely. And then the thing that ties everybody together is one, music, food. It's very unique. Like I said, the people from here they don't go, they don't leave, they stay. And, and you're right, you get a bad rap because I always found that the people here, if you had common sense, you got along Very easy.
Yep.
It's when you do something stupid that they come down on you.
Well, yeah. And the same for our sports teams.
I was just going to say that if if you're an athlete, you'll be revered. All you have to do is work hard. You don't have to be really good. You just have to show that because of the blue collar that's built in to the population. They want to see you working. They want to see you busting your ass down the first baseline and not dogging it.
Right.
And that's what Philadelphia is.
That's why I think that Gritty was the perfect name for the Flyers mascot, because I do think I completely agree with you. Like, you can mess up, but we need to make sure, we need to know you were at practice. We need to know that you showed up early. We need to know that in the off season you were training, right? And you're working. For us as fans, you've already got your millions coming in, so you better show us you're working for something, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I asked you earlier, what do you think it is for people like yourself who have that undying drive to keep going forward through everything? I mean, you go over it, around it, or through it. What do you think that is? What do you in your own personality?
So I went back to school about 20 years ago, and I got a degree that might surprise people. I got my religious studies certificate from St. Charles Borromeo Seminary, and then I got my holistic spirituality master's from Chestnut Hill College. And from that, which is really not only both of them just a study in theology and faith, but it's really the study of our human minds and how we think. And I really, really studied focus, digital distraction, of course, and the skills of resilience. And I think when I look back at my life and my childhood and my young 20s and 30s, without having language for it, I was really perfecting and practicing, which, all skills worth having take practice. I wish I could wrap them up and give them to somebody, right? I'm sure somebody younger that you say, I wish I could just give you the package of resilience or the package of confidence, or, but it doesn't work that way. You have to practice it. And so what I would say gets me through, over, under, however I'm going to get there, are skills of resilience. I always believe that there is a way. I always believe that failure is just feedback. It's just that at this moment, the puzzle piece didn't fit. And as part of that doesn't mean that I have to go it alone, because I don't believe any of us are supposed to be here or live this life alone. I believe we're supposed to help one another and live in community. So part of that agency to get something done is the ability to say, I need help, and can you help me? So
many lessons in what you just said there. And you're right. Sometimes I like to grab my grandson and, especially about the failure part, because I think in this generation, the new generations coming up, they can't take failure. I mean, they'd rather not try than to fail. And I always said, hey, listen,
the saddest part of all.
It is. It's a shame. They can't tell time. I mean, everything is at their hand. You don't know the answer to everything within seconds. You don't have to go hunt it down yourself and learn, the things that we had to learn coming up, through our eras. It's and
there's value in the struggle, right? And there's value in the failure.
Absolutely. There's more value in the failure than there is in the success.
Amen. All day long. All day long. Yes.
It's not rocket science.
I know.
It really isn't.
You know what? I think that kids are really, really stressed these days. I think they have a lot on their shoulders. And I think that we just have to remind them that it's just because you didn't succeed this time does not mean that you failed or that you are a failure. It's just that you didn't succeed yet. And I think we have to just help them change their framework, how they see things.
Yeah, I agree 100%. 100%. So making that shift, what was the decision on leaving I mean, years, decades of success.
Maybe I lost my mind. I'm not sure, Joe. I don't know. um, number one, I say thank you to all the women who have done my job in the decades before me, because for many of them 20 years ago, a station would not have continued to offer them a contract at this age. So number one, thank you to them. Number two, thank you to NBC10. They were lovely in offering me another contract. And they were also lovely when I said, no, thank you. I'm ready. I'm ready. And I call it rewiring. It's not retiring, because it's really, because what I'm doing now is keynote speeches and consulting and coaching people about resilience, about confidence, about performance, all of which I have learned through much failure, I might add, over 40 years of journalism, right? I mean, you don't always succeed. That's just not how it works. And so it's really a continuation of what I had been doing, right? My whole job is collecting information and then serving it to people, delivering it, and in many times with consumer news, so that people have more information in which to make better decisions for their families. And I think if I can teach, whether it's executives, whether it's people who are new to the workforce, even if it's middle school kids, how to assess their skills of resilience, how to look at problems, how to look at failure, how to look at confidence, how to grow their confidence. You know, it's just like going to the gym. You don't just walk in and say, I want to order the bicep. You know, it takes some work, right? And so if I can teach people how to learn and practice skills of resilience, skills of confidence, that's what I want to do. And I want to do it in person, because I think that's the thing that we're missing the most these days, is authentic human connection, really being present with one another in person. So next time we meet, we're going to do this in person.
Awesome. And for anybody who wants to take or look at a body of work and take that information that you offer now as a motivational speaker, they're blessed because of getting it from you, a person who's lived it, who's had, hey, everybody has the failures, but that success is not the easiest thing to achieve, and then have the longevity behind it. It's just, it's absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
And I can't praise you enough.
Oh,
it's just really, it really, you get that kind of an understanding when you go through, 30, 40 years of doing the same job at a high level. And I can relate to that. It's never ending, and it's very hard to do.
It's never ending. It's very hard to do. And I think I had to be a little bit brave to say, as hard as it is, it's never ending, right? But we've done it for a very long time, so we know how to do it. And I tell people, grow your confidence by doing things you've never done before, talking to people you've never talked to before. And so I guess I just took a little bit of my own advice and said, I'm going to jump in. Not that I haven't been speaking over those 40 years, but I'm going to just completely do something for a living that I haven't done before. And, people think I'm crazy, and they probably should, because I could have just kept taking the R5 into work and doing what I've been doing, because I know how to do it. But I wanted the challenge, and I wanted to be a little bit scared. So that's what I'm doing.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with getting out of your comfort zone. That's for sure.
Growing skills, right? That's how we grow all of our skills.
Absolutely. And you had the opportunity to interview so many people over the years. Who was your favorite, and who won, and which one gave you like a little bit of a headache?
Oh, I don't think I have any headaches.
Really? Good.
No, I don't. I think I can always learn from people. I can
Awesome.
always learn from people. Some of the best interviews are not some people who you would think. So of course I would list David Cohen as one of the best interviews. And in fact, he was one of the first people I met when I came to Philadelphia. And that was when he was pretty much running the city with Ed Rendell. I was stretching myself because I had to quickly learn this very big city. And I was reaching out to people and saying, can I buy you a cup of coffee? Can you tell me about the landscape? Can you tell me about the politics? And so he was one of the first. But I mean, there's another one of an interview that I did with a man who had been wrongly incarcerated for 42 years.
Wow.
And I sat around a table with him and his family, interviewing him. And that one still sticks with me to this day. Sticks with me so much so that I remember certain things that he says. His sister, and this is later on because I interviewed him right when he got out and his family had picked him up from prison. But later on, he said, there's so many things I missed and I just didn't get it. One of them being at the Wawa, how the money comes down and spits out into the little cup. He had no idea. He was like, what in the world? And I remember him telling me things like that to this day stick with me. And I think the other one that will still stick with me is the bombing of Pan Am 103 in, I don't know, we'll have to look up the dates, late 80s maybe, interviewing the parents. And that was long before we even, especially in the United States, used the word terrorism at a regular pace. It was a very big deal. I was in Syracuse and there were 35 Syracuse University students on that plane. And I remember talking to her parents, and that one still sticks with me too.
Now, you know how you can tell that you're a very genuine person? Because that question most people would go to the biggest person that they could think of. I met Michael Jackson and he said this. You talked about regular people. They were the things that stuck in your mind. So, I mean, right there, to me, it just shows, what kind of a person you are.
Thank you.
And I mean, you should be so proud of yourself with everything that you've done and accomplished and what you're now starting. Walk away from most people would be their dream. Walk away and go into even though I think that, I mean, to me, there's no shot at failure here. There isn't. It's because you won't let it happen.
Nope. So, I won't. But I will say thank you because I teach girls and women that when you're given a compliment, just say thank you. Yes. Thank you. I worked hard. So thank you.
And listen, again, we've talked about this throughout the 33 minutes or whatever where we're at, about the resilience. You have to, and I don't know if that's something that's taught. I don't think it is. I think it's something that's, and like you brought about your parents, about them having substance problems. And I think with everybody's family, there's somebody in there, or, for myself, I was a single parent family. My mother had to work, the old story, 2 jobs, and you're on your own. Yep. And if you don't learn, you can go either way very easy. I could have went to the street and been a completely different story, or somehow something gets built in to where you just have this undying desire to be successful. I don't even think you know it.
Yeah, I don't think you know it either. I mean, my brother and sister and I, we all have intense work ethic. So much so that we laugh that we all probably need a little counseling on how to sort of slow down and take a breath. But yeah, I think, and you know what? I think we all have stuff and family stuff and whatever stuff. The trick is learning from it and being okay with that, right? And not, anyone who has been through a trauma or a challenge, that doesn't have to define you. People get stuck in whatever, but we've all had the stuff, you don't have to get stuck in it. Be informed by it, grow by it.
Right.
Right. So
absolutely. Yeah. And again, like I said, I think it's something that's built in. It's not learned.
Well, the resilience piece you can learn, but you're right. I think that like some inner drive, I think you're right. And you know, of course because I'm a woman of faith, I give credit to God, but I do think that some people are just born with sort of an inner drive that whatever comes their way, they're going to get it.
Absolutely. Where there's no obstacles, whether it's, and you could be in any profession. You can be a news broadcaster or you can be a plumber. It doesn't matter. If you have that drive, you're going to succeed in whatever you're meant to do. And you'll figure that out as you move along. Where can people find you?
Tracy
and
Davidson.
I'll put all the links.
Oh yeah.
I'll put all the links but tell everybody.
Yeah. TracyDavidson.com is the place to find everything. Places where I'm speaking. You can sign up for my newsletter. You can see the Women's Day that I host once a year and join us for that. It's all there.
Awesome. Well, I can't thank you enough. I mean, this has been incredible for me. I mean, I've been a huge fan for many years.
Joe, you're so nice.
I think I might be a little bit older than you.
Thank you. We're not doing that. We are not.
I know I'm older than you because your birthday's June 10th, correct?
Yes.
And my birthday is June the 11th.
So you're one day older.
So I'm at least one day older.
So that's what you're going to be saying? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Well, I'll make sure to give you a happy birthday call on your birthday.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I think this is the best decade yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't thank you enough again.
Thank you.
And thanks to everybody out there for tuning in to the podcast. Really appreciate it. Philly Legends Podcast on YouTube. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe. And we're going to have all the links below where you can check out Tracy's webpage and all the things that she's doing. And maybe you'll get the opportunity to see her speak. I'd love it.
Hope so.
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.